What is going on, everybody? What is going on? We are back with another video. This is the DH Impact Media Podcast. I am your host, Darian Hopkins of DH Impact Media Podcast, and we have a special show today, and we talking about WWE. We have a big event this weekend in the Elimination Chamber. We are in WrestleMania weekend, and we have a WrestleMania fan here, and just the King of Belts. That's what I'm gonna call him, the King of Belts of the Knoxxx show. Make sure y'all check out his link in the description. I will put that there. And Mike, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming on to the show. I appreciate it.
Well, appreciate for having me on. How you doing today, Darren?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing awesome. It's WrestleMania season.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Especially the way the Royal Rumble went. I actually love the Royal Rumble, so I love the way it went. So now the Elimination Chamber, we already know who Jey Uso is going to go up against. He's going up against Gunther. So, hey, now we about to see all the drama unfolds right before WrestleMania. Man.
Yes, sir. I'm coming for your soul.
Yeah, listen. I mean, before we get into the Elimination Chamber and everything of that nature, I want to talk about, what was the best era for you in wrestling? Because my best era, I'm about to be 39 on Sunday.
Okay.
So my era is Attitude Era.
Okay.
So even though my era is Attitude Era, I still know my past eras before. But I would love to know, what was your best era coming up as a child?
Well, coming up as a child, I think I'm born in the classic era. So I'm from the 80s, WrestleMania 1. I've seen every WrestleMania. But I think, to answer your question, the best era in wrestling for me is the Ruthless Aggression era. Because you had the best of the Attitude Era mixed in with the Ruthless Aggression era that gave us Batista, Cena, Orton, Guerrero, and those guys, Kurt Angle. To me, you can't beat that era. The Attitude Era is beloved. People love it. We all got in trouble. Well, y'all got in trouble in school. I got in trouble with adults. Telling everybody I got 2 words for you, things like that. But the best era in professional wrestling to me, hands down, it's not even a comparison. The Attitude era is great, but I gotta fully go all the way with Ruthless Aggression.
I love Ruthless Aggression because I feel like that's where you saw a lot of those championships come along, like the Cruiserweight. And you definitely see the Intercontinental title excel in the Ruthless Aggression era. You see a lot of luchadors comes out in the Ruthless Aggression era, like the Rey Mysterios. You had so many different types of people, like even some luchadors that came on from WCW that signed with the WWE in that time frame, because we shut down they shut down WCW at the time. So I have to agree with you there. I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I mean, I love my Attitude Era. I'm a Stone Cold, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time.
That's my favorite of all time too. But
that's my GOAT.
That's my GOAT as well. But he's from the new generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So his Attitude Era, actually, the Attitude Era didn't even have him in it, if you want to be honest. Remember, because the first Attitude Era was WrestleMania 14. Right. That was his last match. We don't see him for almost 10 years.
Right.
At the SummerSlam, and it was that
I think he was a part of the beginning of the Attitude Era. Like when they had the first crew of Generation, when they had Ravisher, Rick Rude, China, Triple H, and just him.
Yeah.
And then, Attitude Era got better. I mean, DX got better when Triple H took over, and Shawn Michaels had to leave due to a back injury and stuff. But I say, Shawn Michaels in Ruthless Aggression, he won the title there, especially in Elimination Chamber. So we about to have to get into that. So it's so much you can say about, Ruthless Aggression era. Is so many wrestlers that could possibly be Hall of Famers. Absolutely. From that Ruthless Aggression era in itself. Even from the women's division, it goes even better. Like, you see more of women in the ring than outside the ring, instead of being managers all the time. You see them actually in the ring now during that Ruthless Aggression era as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, man. And the fact that we both love Shawn Michaels, I love Shawn Michaels even when he was with the Rockers, So it goes that far back with me being a Shawn Michaels fan. So it's just crazy how both of us we feel like he's the GOAT in my opinion. So
well, you know what? It's this. The thing is, Frederick, I have my favorites list, which he's my number one. But then I have my GOAT list, and he's not my GOAT, for what it's worth.
Okay, so who is your actual GOAT then, if that's the case?
Jonathan Horatio Rodriguez, Tom Brady, Cena.
Okay.
I just think in the eyes of the WWE, there's nothing he didn't do. He's same trended eras. He's been here 20 plus years. It's just, again, not my favorite, but I think he's the GOAT.
Okay. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm definitely not mad at that, but I don't know if you saw one of my statuses on Facebook
Okay.
where it says Bleacher Report top 10 greatest superstars of all time.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go from 10 to 1, and I think this is one of the most horrible lists I've ever
It's
seen.
Report, so you're it's not hard to be a horrible list between
So
Bleacher
it's
Report and Sportskeeda. I mean, they just don't know what they're talking about in those two companies.
right. So they have 10 Hulk Hogan, 9 Roddy Piper,
Yeah,
8 Shawn Michaels, which I think is
it's
crazy
way
to
too low.
me.
Yeah,
Number 7, The Rock. Number 6, Bruno Sammartino. Number 5, Cena. Number 4, Taker. Number 3, Randy Savage. Number 2, Steve Austin. And number 1, Bret Hart.
I love Bret Hart. Right, he's my 1 to 1A with Shawn Michaels. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, Bret's Shawn's just way more entertaining than Bret was. That list was atrocious. You have Roddy Piper on there. First of all, get that out of here. Okay. You have Bruno Sammartino. No offense towards my dad, your granddad. Sorry, Bruno Martinez. What he did in the '60s does not equate today.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's just that you saw that list. You're like, my thing. I've been doing this now in podcasting and radio for over 16 years now. Okay, so my experience with Fox Sports, what I've come to learn is that that's your list. You're entitled to your list. I don't have to agree with your list, but what I think every list should have is a criteria. Why is this your list? Why is this your top 10? Tell me why you see this order going that way. Let me at least make some kind of, credibility out of that list. The problem is that I have a degree in studio. I'm a broadcast journalism major. Other people just grab a microphone and they just go to talking, and because that's the world we live in today, right? Let's go do it. But did you study your craft? Did you know what you're talking about? You today, if that's your top 10, just say, hey, this is my favorite top 10 list.
Yeah, at least say it's your favorite. These are your personal favorites.
My personal favorite, right?
Because I can't I respect the greats. I do. But I said I respect the greats, but Shawn Michaels at number 8 goes crazy to me.
He doesn't go lower than 5 or 4.
He should be no lower. I mean, I would put Michaels. Honestly, I probably would put Taker at 3, Michaels at 4. But I'm trying to figure out where I would put number 1. I don't think Bret Hart is number 1 on that list.
Not at all. I love Bret.
And the thing is that you don't even have Flair on this list is just insane to me.
The fact you have Piper, you have Bruno Sammartino, right? Other than the longevity of him having that title, what argument case you have for him, right? Because I believe when you make a list, right, your list has to consist of, did they put butts in the seats? Bruno did that in this era. You can't fault him for where he was to where he is now, right?
Yeah.
Impact on the company. I don't see the impact on the company. I don't see impact on the industry that he had. Even being in that era, that was just wrestling back then, right? You could say the same thing for what's his name? Superstar Billy Graham. I would think he had a bigger impact on the company than Bruno, because people to this day still try to be Superstar Billy Graham.
Right.
Yeah. No one's trying to be Bruno Sammartino. No disrespect towards his family. I'm very cool with his one of his granddaughters. She's a very good friend of mine. So not putting the family down for also this podcast is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's not a top 10 guy. You know what I mean? And I would even put Taker underneath Shawn Michaels for what it's worth. And Taker, outside the streak, what Undertaker has done for people. And people love Undertaker. I have one of my closest friends is a diehard Taker fan. I'm not putting him over Shawn Michaels.
I just think when it comes to Taker being the size that he is, in the in-ring performance and the stuff that he was able to do for his size, really paved the way for a lot of these big guys like a Damian Priest and like a Gunther. Like, these guys are big and they can actually go up on the top rope and do things off the top rope, which back in the day where big men was just, hey, okay, I'm just this strong guy, I'm just going to choke slam you, boom. But Taker was actually being, elusive and actually being athletic as a big size. So I say when it comes to that, when it comes to impact, I think when it comes to storylines, his impact is as well too. But I think when his storyline started to get good, is when the first Hell in a Cell happened with
With Shawn
Shawn
Michaels, Bad
Michaels.
Blood, at Bad Blood,
And Bad
absolutely.
Blood. So
Yeah,
I feel like when his storylines start to get better and better and better, and then when it came down to the Kane, when Kane's coming back, Kane's coming in and he's debuting, the storyline just got better. Shawn Michaels paid that way.
yeah.
So I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, but I feel like Taker had an impact on the bigger guys
Mhm.
coming in as
But
far as
again,
like,
that's a flip of the coin, but that's
yeah,
not putting Taker at 10.
right,
You know what
right.
I'm
It just
saying?
really
Like,
shifted it. Yeah.
yeah, like just it's that's a again, that's a matter of opinion. That's a matter of how you what you govern to be important. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? As well, but not just come on, you can't make an argument sake that you got, you don't have Kurt Angle, you don't have Triple H on this list, but you got Roddy Piper.
Yeah. How you not
You
have
don't have
Taker on the list?
Batista on this
Right.
list. That's I mean, for what it's worth, and nobody brings up his name, Daniel Bryan is one of the most popular wrestlers of all time. But
Especially when
when
it
you
comes
see a
to
list, you
so
don't.
many moments in WWE that he had before
Yeah,
he went to AEW. I just went, how you not have him as an honorable mention or somewhere on this
somewhere in that
list
list.
in
There's
the
no
in general?
yeet without the yes chant.
Yeah, without the
Okay,
yes chant.
The-
People forget that Daniel Bryan used to be a part of Nexus. Nobody knew that though.
you know, got fired
Yeah.
from Nexus. So
Yeah, he definitely get fired from Nexus, but yeah, it's good to have the wrestling talk with you. I love my history. I always go back and watch my history, especially going back to like the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars, because sometimes you have those memories, but you want to keep be a refresher of those memories as well. Because
absolutely,
sometimes you watch it and you go back like, wait, I missed this part while watching it the first time. Okay, this is what actually happened. So I'm always learning something new with the old school era and try to mix it in with today's era
absolutely.
of it. But before we get into the actual card, one more thing I wanted to ask: how do you feel about this era now? I'll call it the Triple H era. So, how do you feel about this era now, knowing that Raw's on Netflix,
Uh-huh.
SmackDown's on USA? What's your thoughts about how you feel like everything is turning out in 2025 so far?
Really, really, you really want to know that? Okay, I'm just stop.
Yeah, I would love to know your honest opinion. It's 100% raw and uncut. Be honest,
No,
man.
no. Well, first thing I give myself a Barry Horowitz. All right, because you always see, people say this and people don't really know that it's true, but I do know it's true that they listen. Okay, back in September of last year, I started calling it the Triple H era, and it took off and went from there. And I tried to give him his time to let the writing on the walls of things and him get enough time invested. I'm a Triple H mark as well. That's one of my favorites of all time, despite personal feelings of storylines he had with Booker T. We leave that alone. And everybody thought you get rid of Vince, this could be such a better thing. What he did with NXT was so great. Give him the main roster. But I think people forget, not giving Vince credit, all the credit. You have to have somebody to tell you no, right? So as much credit as everybody gives Triple H for NXT, he had Vince saying, yes, that's okay. No, that's not okay. Now he has full carte blanche of things. And now you're hearing more complaints from the staff, that means the wrestlers, the roster, than you've ever heard with Vince McMahon. You got too many women rosters. You got the women having outrage, right? They don't know what's going on. The it's not conducive to what they're used to. There's too many. Right now, WWE is AEW, but a way better product than AEW, in my opinion. You're
Okay.
oversaturated with talent, and you don't know what to do with them all.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who sits on the wrestling side of, I hate being the fan of the smart mark. I watch wrestling truly from the eyes of my children. I don't
Right.
try to, it's what it is. I don't care about who they dating. I don't care about who did what behind. I don't give two flying fig Newtons. I just don't care. Okay. I want to know what this, to me, wrestling has always and always will be hashtag wrestling its storyline. If
Yeah.
there's no story, there's no wrestling. I don't care about how great Eddie Guerrero could wrestle or Kurt Angle could wrestle. If Kurt Angle didn't come out there with a broken freaking neck in the milk truck, who was Kurt Angle other than another good wrestler? I
Yep.
see good wrestlers all the time. Can they tell me a story?
Yeah.
So to go in the question and answering in this way is, it's okay. I think it's too soon to be so critical,
Hmm.
but I think it's fair to be critical because He has had it now for a year and a half, and he's not making the best decisions. And I gotta speak on what I speak on the most, which is my people. You in Black History Month on Raw, the way you did this past week by having Team BGM as I do my Black Girl Magic Dance. That way, you have Naomi and Bianca lose on Raw like that. Come on, they could have lost
Yeah.
on next Monday on the 3rd, right? You just gotta know your audience, and he thinks he's slick by what's going on in NXT. You have Oba Femi and you got Ricky Saints now. All the that they got that great black talent in there with the women. I always tell people, read between the lines. Booker T was never WWE champion. It's why we never acknowledged him as a world champion. Not that he
Right.
wasn't, right?
Right.
We acknowledge Bobby Lashley. We acknowledge Big E Langston. The world flipped out. I shed a tear when Kofi Kingston won that
Kingston won
title,
it at
right?
WrestleMania. Yup.
At WrestleMania. But yet, they try to pull the wool over your eyes by saying, "Oh, look what they're doing in NXT with all that black talent," and then look at all the black rappers they have on Raw. But where's the black representation of male wrestlers on Raw and on SmackDown on your main roster? They're not there. They're not there. They're losing. They're losing
They're
continually.
losing. I mean, even though the New Day is heel now, they're not likable at this point. So I definitely agree there. The black representation, especially for Black History Month, in itself, I just feel like it wasn't enough acknowledgement of the history of black, sports entertainers or sports, or wrestlers
Yeah.
that came through the WWE. It wasn't much acknowledgement of the past and what paved the way for black athletes to be in the WWE or be in the wrestling business itself.
Yeah. There's a good audience out there, and I'm not one of those fans, but I'm one of them guys. They would say, "Are you in the church or out of church?" I got one foot in, one foot out, right?
Right.
That's me kind of with the wrestling community because I get where some of the black wrestling fans don't count The Rock. I do, right? It's not that I don't count The Rock as being black because clearly he is. His father is Rocky Soul Man, Rocky Johnson. But the storyline, as I said earlier in your show here, wrestling its storyline, outside the Nation of Domination, he has never gone back to his black roots in the storyline. It's
That's
always
true.
been Samoa driven, right?
Yep.
Your father is a black man,
Yeah.
but yet they only focus on your grandfather,
Right.
right? So a lot of wrestling
So
fans,
my question to you is that more of a Vince McMahon and wrestling and WWE thing when they did that? Because I don't think Triple H was a part of that. I mean, I think he was just on the roster as a wrestler at the
yes,
time.
correct.
But I think that's more of a problem with
It is.
Vince McMahon
It was.
and everybody behind the scenes that really don't acknowledge Rocky Johnson, the
Correct.
original Rocky Johnson, as much. And I think they should have did that in Black History Month. We got one more day left in February. Like, and then what? SmackDown is tomorrow. What you
Yeah.
gonna do a whole acknowledgement on SmackDown? Like,
And I can't
definitely
even
agree
go
with that.
shopping tomorrow, because it's a blackout. So you better go get your liquor and your wings today.
Yep.
Because you can't get them tomorrow.
Better get it today because on Saturday when elimination come around,
Yeah.
you don't want to be going out tomorrow getting everything
Yeah.
for Saturday. You don't.
Yeah, facts. So no, I reserve the right to answer that question at a later date. How is the era? Because right now it's not terrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
It's not great either. And I enjoy NXT more than I enjoy Raw or SmackDown. That's a shame. Now, is that because Roman Reigns hasn't been featured as much? I don't know. Right?
Mhm.
But I just feel like it's too convoluted.
See, with SmackDown, my problem that I have is less action and more talking.
A lot talking.
It's too much talking on SmackDown. Like, you understand you want to have promos and stuff. Like, it's part of the business. I get it. But we want to see it. Like, forget the talking. We want to see the action.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to talk about it, be about it. And that's where it needs to be.
There it is. You said I couldn't say it no better than that.
Right. It's true. So we're going to speaking of storylines, we're going to get into the Elimination Chamber. We all knew last week on SmackDown that we see Cody Rhodes had to answer The Rock. We knew that The Rock returned. We all knew that was going to be a big thing. Cody Rhodes was in the ring. He was saying stuff, and Rhodes has, people saying that Rhodes has been a great champion. Me personally, he's been an okay champion in my personal opinion. And The Rock said that he wanted more from him, and The Rock wants Rhodes, his soul, like you said earlier, his soul, his mind, and stuff like that. I think they're trying to give him a corporate heel role in this situation. And do you think Cody Rhodes would actually go out and decide that he will, go the corporate role heel?
I'm gonna answer that question with a definitive yes. Go to his theme song in itself that we all scream for, right?
I love that theme song, by the way.
My daughter screams it every single time it comes on. All right, and we're talking about a guy who they took his name from him,
Mm-hmm.
who had to go to the Indies. Now I've been a Cody Rhodes fan from day one. Talking about way back, every iteration of Cody Rhodes, I have been a fan of, from Dashing to The Mask to even Stardust.
Yeah.
Okay, he goes to the Indies, and all of a sudden he gets fan appreciation and love, right?
Mhm.
Because how did he get that love? Wasn't because he was Cody Rhodes. It was because he left the WWE. You know, if you're not that era was, if you're not there, we love you, right?
Yeah.
So he was anti WWE, and he played a hell of a heel role. That's what he was up until the last year in AEW when he flipped it to become face.
Right.
Okay. So fast forward to now, everybody comes back as a face unless you're Charlotte Flair. They just boo you for no reason, right? So he comes back as the face. He's run his course. He did his job. He did what he's supposed to do. I think they put the writing on the wall when he just completely beat the living mess out of Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't a face thing to do.
That wasn't
right?
a face thing to do. When I tell you I've never seen a side of Cody Rhodes like that in that type of match, I was shocked. I was shocked because Kevin Owens can definitely get in those type of matches and do those matches, and he'd be the more dominant, but Cody was more dominant there. So
very aggressive, very, very brutal.
yeah.
Right? And I think that was the sign. And I didn't expect Rock coming back. I'm not going to say that stuff like that. But I initially thought they were going to do a heel turn with him. It kind of started seeing changes in his character.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes sense because, and I don't want to jump the gun when we're going to talk about Elimination Chamber, but who I think will win the Elimination Chamber, I believe, is Jonathan Rachel Rodriguez, Tom Brady, Cena. Cena's not going to be a heel at WrestleMania. So
yeah, he's not. And Cena never been a heel. He really never been a heel at all in his career.
Cena was a heel in the very beginning. Remember, the Dr. Thumonomics was a heel. Flat out.
Sure?
Positive. The man was pissing on graves.
Yeah, I mean, he was, but I thought the crowd loved it, though.
No,
I mean,
the crowd. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Loved it, but his character was actually a heel.
See, that's the thing with Roman. Do you say Roman's a heel? Or do you say Roman's a tweener? Roman's actions are the actions of a heel. Here's the thing with wrestling fans and fans in general. We cannot put what we want to happen. There are good guys and bad guys.
Right.
Wrestling's have been about that their whole life. Excuse the terminology, cowboys and Indians, right? Or cowboys and Native Americans, maybe you want to call it, right? That's the Hatfields and the McCoys, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So Cena's going to be a face. Somebody has to be a heel, right? Roman's a heel. Everything Roman does is a heel. This is my camera. This is my people. These are my fans. Oh, I love it, right? Everybody's still saying, got the ones up screaming his name. But he's a heel because now it's cool to like the heel. When I was a kid, nobody liked the Joker.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, oh my God, the Joker's, did you see Heath Ledger's Joker? Oh, I love Thanos. Thanos is amazing.
Yeah.
They
all heel characters.
They
all heel characters.
They're all heel. No matter how great they play their character, they're still bad guys.
Right.
And I don't like bad guys. That's how I got into wrestling. So I like faces. This is what. Now, don't get me wrong. I love heels. And I got plenty of heel people T-shirts, right? Yeah. But I still go for the good guy. And Kevin Owens was right.
So at the end of the day, you feel like he's going to come a corporate champion and go heel, and he'd probably be about side by side with The Rock or something like that.
I don't necessarily know that. I think that's where they could go on. Why not? What does he owe the people at this point?
True.
3 years he's been back. I was there when he came back at WrestleMania when he took on Seth Rollins in Dallas. Okay. That was a face. Then he goes to WrestleMania in Hollywood. That was a face. Then turned into 3 years. He's a face at WrestleMania last year where he finally beats Roman. And now he's a face a whole other year again later. That's 4 years.
That's 4 years to be in a face. Yeah, it's time. It's time.
When he's the American nightmare.
Yes. Now I'm getting it. I'm catching on to it now. See, I see your theory. I like it.
That's why my show, the Mike Knoxxx Show, was called The Show for the Intelligent Wrestling Fan. So you got to come on over, brother. Come on over.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to come on to the show, man. I'm loving this.
Absolutely.
I'm loving this. But the next part that we have on the Elimination Chamber, we have Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Now,
Candace who?
Candice LeRae.
Oh, I know her. I'm just joking.
But you know, Stratton is Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, they formed an unlikely duo on SmackDown, which I saw on Friday. And Stratton feud with Nia Jax and LeRae. Stratus will compete in front of her hometown, of course, in Canada. That makes a lot of sense why she's on this card. The Elimination Chamber definitely, I think it's in Toronto, right? Yeah, it's in Toronto. Before her surprise return to the Royal Rumble, Stratus last wrestled Becky Lynch in a steel cage match back in Payback in 2023. I don't really know. I really don't. For me, I don't really care for the match because Tiffany Stratton is the champion now. So putting her in a tag team match, I'm not really too happy about. But I understand Trish Stratus wants to be a part of the WWE because it's in her hometown, it's in Toronto, it's in Canada. It makes a lot of sense. I understand she has the beef with Nia Jax because she cashed in the Money in the Bank on her. But who do you have winning this match?
Everything you just said is why it's there. They're there for Trish. Trish is going to win. They're there for Tiffany because Nia's partner, Candice, is in this match. Candice takes the pinfall. Nobody's beat. You can even see how they carried Trish, which we all love, right? Nia didn't really annihilate her like she does, but she sat on her. She didn't drop on her like she was doing Tiffany, right? This is all for Tiffany to get over, to get more shine, to have what I believe was going to happen is Charlotte Flair, the greatest women's wrestler of all time, interfere somehow, maybe then in the match, but not costing the match, maybe even costing the match. But I'm going to just say because they're in Toronto, Trish and Tiffy Time win this belt. Trishy Time is going to win this. Is going to not the belts, but win this match.
I'm gonna go with you as well. I'm gonna go with Stratton and Trish to win this match. I'm not a big fan of Candice LeRae. She's not on TV a lot for me to not really care. I think it could have been someone else that's a little bit more caliber that could have been with Nia Jax as a tag team partner. But I understand you trying to put different faces on television. So I understand from that point, but I just feel like if you could have found somebody else.
Where's Candice LeRae from?
Candice LeRae is from, she started out at NXT.
No. Like, where is she from?
Like, as far as like her,
yeah, I'm wondering if she's from Canada for some reason. I'm just curious. I'm looking it up now. Because that just make me want to think. Because that sometimes they do stuff like that. The WWE, they go like, she's from like Trish is from Canada,
Riverside, California.
Oh, there it is. So there, I don't know that. I have no idea why she's in this match, other than she's Nia's sidekick right now.
Yeah, she's Nia's sidekick right now. She's just the replacement for Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, she has a job because her husband Gargano is there.
She's
there. So
that makes complete sense there. Just the match I think might steal the show outside of the Elimination Chamber match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match.
It's not a match.
It's not really a match. This is not a match. This is a fight.
This is the end of Sami Zayn's career, which I hate.
Yeah. So I mean, we all know that the history, like, what is it, 20-year history between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Like,
to our viewing experience, Ring of Honor days.
Yeah, going back to Ring of Honor. Yeah. So
El Generico.
I understand is with the whole situation of Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn after Zayn lost to Punk at the Elimination Chamber qualifier and going all the way back to Cody Rhodes whipping Kevin Owens' ass, and it's just so much on the line here. And I think Sami Zayn was trying to be friends with Cody and be friends with Kevin Owens at the same time with that situation was happening. But now that, it's kind of pissed Sami Zayn off because Kevin Owens attacked him, who do you have winning this fight or this brawl? Because I feel like this is a brawl right here. This is going to be brutal. It's going to be blood. It's going to be tables. It's going to be all types of crap in this situation. So,
as I said earlier, Kevin Owens is right. Okay. If I don't like somebody and you my best friend, you don't like somebody. Okay. You are straddling the fence. Okay. You can't be both our friends. If I'm fighting your friend, you need to choose a side.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's come out, and I love Sami Zayn, by the way. I'm a huge Sami Zayn mark. I want to see the tapes from when Sami Zayn had the conspiracy theory going on. Because I'm a huge Sami Zayn mark. Okay, but in the storyline that we're telling, sorry, Sami, you were wrong. Talking about you want to be mad at me, and I was in my career because I didn't help you win a match. You know, because Sami Zayn always doing this, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, that didn't make any sense. That's what your whole thing is about, winning matches.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, I think Kevin Owens is going to destroy Sami Zayn. Now, if I can go behind the curtains, people are saying that Sami Zayn's really hurt and it's time for him to step into a
Mm.
manager's position. Maybe this is that way. I hope that's completely another hashtag I have is hashtag death to dirt sheets. I don't read dirt sheets. I can't stand dirt sheets. I don't want to know about nothing's happening. That kills the show. Okay.
Right.
So keeping it wrestling storyline wise, Kevin has to win this match because Kevin lost to Cody Rhodes not once but twice.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's time for Kevin to get the dub, and he has a brand new t-shirt coming out that's going to come out that's already on WWEshop.com that I already ordered. So let's go, Kevin.
And on top of that, he lost to CM Punk to be in a qualifier for the Elimination Chamber. So he already lost 3 matches.
Yeah.
So he's bound to win another match. And I think I would love for Sami Zayn to win, but just the theory of if he's really injured, you know, he's going to have to go in here injured and have one of the brutal matches that might, you know, not see him on camera for a while. So I'm going to go with Kevin Owens here as well. So just for that theory, but if that theory is not true and he's not hurt, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Sami Zayn win this match. But I understand why they might give this to Kevin Owens because he's been losing.
Yeah.
So the more you lose, it's going to be bound that they're going to find a way to get you back in the winning spirit and get you back into title contention or something of that nature. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens here too because if Sami Zayn's really injured, then I can't go with him. I can't go with him. Like back in the day, it goes back to Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold. Like as me growing up, I didn't know that he had that back injury going into that match.
Yeah.
And then now that I see it, and you know, not now, but I'm just saying from what I've learned and what I've watched.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the match went the way it went. Got it.
Yeah, I'm grimacing so much in that match you didn't really pay attention to before you knew that. Then once you go like, oh, I'm really thinking he just, you know, was getting his butt whipped.
Yeah.
At that moment.
Right. So yeah, I'm taking Kevin Owens as well there. You're taking Kevin Owens, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so we have the Women Elimination Chamber match with Liv Morgan versus Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair versus Bayley versus Naomi versus Roxanne Perez.
I love me some pop rocks.
So I want you to break this down for me, brother, because these are Alexa Bliss is back from Royal Rumble. Of course, Liv Morgan was going to be in there. Bianca Belair is in there with her tag team partner Naomi. Bayley and Roxanne Perez, I think they don't have any fractions with anyone in this Elimination Chamber. So who do you got taken when it comes to this match? Who are you taking here?
In the words of my daughter, excuse me, I love you, Michaela. I'm going for the Black Girl Magic. Bianca Belair has to win this match. She has to. It needs to be Rhea versus Bianca somehow, some way. I don't want to hear people saying I want Jade and Bianca. No, I don't want that. I never wanted that. Naomi did it, whatever. Bianca Belair has to win this match. It's her time. She's been away from the #1 title picture for far too long by carrying these other girls around like she's the Mandalorian and they're Grogu. It's time for Bianca Belair to get back on them steps to becoming the greatest of all time. And it says since Triple H has taken over, she's been knocked down, not one, not two, but several pegs of reaching that top GOAT status. And it's time for her to get back up there. So now that I say it out loud, with Triple H being the booker, she probably won't win. But that's who I'm going for, though, Bianca Belair.
I want Bianca Belair to win. I always was a fan of Bianca Belair. A lot of fans come to me, or a lot of fans feel like she's the new version of Sasha Banks. I disagree with that. I think that I think her character is totally different from what Sasha Banks was when she was in WWE. So I get it. But I mean, Bayley is probably the longest reigning, you know, WWE women's wrestler on this card by itself. She's probably the main one. But do I really want Bayley to win right now? No, she's been losing as well. Naomi, I know she want to get back in title contention, but I just don't see that happening with her at the moment. Alexa Bliss might be a pop for the people because she just came back from the Royal Rumble. So if she's winning, I wouldn't be surprised. But Liv Morgan, no. Roxanne Perez, I think she's not ready. But I feel like Roxanne Perez is going to put on a great show in the match, but she's not going to win. I think she's going to take some high flying risk, and she might steal the show out of all of them and do whatever it takes for her to win, but she's not going to win. But the logic of it is Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Especially with the way Rhea has been getting her pop. Bianca is getting her pop, but she's not getting the pop that she used to because she's a tag team partner with Naomi as of right now. And I just don't want Bianca Belair to go into there. I understand Naomi's your tag team partner, but she's not your tag team partner going into this match.
Right.
So I understand you want to have a strategy for y'all to be the last two in the chamber, but you're going to have to put the tag team part aside. You're going to have to.
The only thing about this is that I have to keep the same energy that I said before about with Cena versus Cody. It's heel versus face. They do it sometimes. So what they do with Bianca, and that's also the big controversy of fans is turn her heel, turn her heel. Thank you for allowing me to be on the DH Impact Media Podcast Network. And anytime I get a chance to speak, I like to just share this. Being at that WrestleMania, I always forget the numbers. The one from 3 years ago in Texas when Cody came back. I saw something at that WrestleMania that I had never seen before. I don't know if you have, nieces but the impact that Frozen, the movie, had on little girls.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So ponytails everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw little girls, white girls, black girls, all with Bianca Belair ponytails. I think her impact on little girls is so impactful, you can't turn her heel. The same way you spoke about earlier about Cena.
Right.
People say, turn Cena heel. For what? That man has had over 1,500 Make-A-Wishes. He turns a heel. There is no 1,500 Make-A-Wishes. People have to understand why, as much as adults love the Wyatt family, those toys didn't sell.
They didn't.
Okay? When I went to the Christmas store on Christmas Eve and all that kind of stuff, kind of late to get some gifts for the kids, I always could come across a Wyatt family action figure because your damn sure believe everything else was sold out. Okay? But they had all those. Do not turn Bianca heel. Rhea can be a heel because, damn it, guess what? She looks like a heel anyway.
Yeah.
So that's my take. So I'm gonna just let that be where it is.
No, I love it. I love it. I love the theory. I love how, I mean, with Cena was a heel, but not a heel, if you want to make sense there, because he got booed so much. It was already a mixed crowd. It was already 50-50. Like the younger kids loved Cena, but the older adults was like hating John Cena at the point. So he was unofficially a heel, quote unquote. So I mean, just from the fans' perspective, because at one point I couldn't stand Cena. At one point I couldn't stand him, but at the same time I'm like, okay, I like him. It really, especially when he went up against The Rock and stuff of that nature. They was going back and forth with the promos. I love that. So it was like 50-50 for me, loving Cena and hating Cena. So unofficially a heel when it comes to him. And I think Bianca Belair, I wouldn't mind her being a heel. I wouldn't mind it.
I don't think I would mind it personally from her. I want more for her. That's me being the papa that I am. That's me having my little black girl magic in my household that I look up to, that I know looks up to her, and Naomi and those kind of things. Naomi has been heel before, so let her go back to being heel. People forget about Bad, you know what I mean, with her, Sasha Banks and Tamina along those lines. But I just think for how big she can be, you don't turn Bianca Belair heel. It's like same thing with Marvel not replacing Black Panther. I love Chadwick Boseman. There is nobody like Chadwick Boseman, but somebody else deserves to pick up the mantle and lead. He was too important to young kids to not pick that mantle back up. And I just think you can't. I don't want to see her turn heel and lose that. That fandom that I look back at that WrestleMania 32 and WrestleMania Hollywood, and that little girl who lost her mother, but Bianca still let her, talk to her and saying, hey, I know your mother just passed. I think you should still come do this. And that impact of her having all those little girls from that Compton dance club be out there. She's heel. We don't get that kind of interest for Bianca Belair.
That's true.
And that's for me. why I don't want to see her ever turn heel. Like the impact she has on little brown girls in this country is just too impactful for me to tank that by a storyline.
I get it. I absolutely get it. I get it. Because I know the fans are loving Rhea Ripley right now too, though. So it's like it'll be two faces going up against each other at WrestleMania. But I think it would kind of like make it interesting on the crowd, like whose side you're on,
Who you're cheering for? Yeah,
who you cheering for. So people say that it shouldn't it always should be a heel versus face, but I think two faces work in a wrestling ring. It's just be hard for you to pick. You love Bianca Belair, you love Rhea Ripley, but whose side you on tonight in this match alone?
You know what? I'm not a taker guy. My first WrestleMania, and I've been lucky to go to everyone almost since then, was WrestleMania 28. You talk about the Cena and Rock moment.
Yeah.
I remember, again, not a Taker guy, but seeing Taker at WrestleMania. But I'm a Triple H mark. And I'm screaming, Undertaker, Triple H. I'm screaming for both of them.
Right.
It's okay to do that, right? If the story's told good enough, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
So that's my take on that as well.
That's a great take there. Especially that's a great take. But we both picked Bianca Belair to win the women's elimination chamber match and the men's elimination chamber match. John Cena versus CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. Now we all knew that Cena declared his entry into the match of the Royal Rumble. We seen that, and he declared, that he's going to find his way to Elimination Chamber because he lost to Jey Uso, as the final man to be in WrestleMania. But Punk defeated Sami Zayn in the men's qualifying match. McIntyre beat LA Knight, Jimmy Uso in a triple threat match to enter that fraction or whatever that's been going on there with that storyline.
Right.
Logan Paul enters, he earned his spot beating Rey Mysterio, which I was kind of surprised that Rey Mysterio was even in a qualifying match, but
right. But he's Rey Mysterio, so he gets a pass.
Yeah, he gets the pass, but it's finally set for, Priest and Rollins. They won 8 qualifiers as well. So who are you taking in this match? Because for me, this is kind of tough because I like a lot of these wrestlers. I like Punk. I like Damian Priest. I'm a big Seth Rollins fan. I'm always going to be a Cena fan.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much I hated him at one point, I'm still, like Cena.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, people might love Logan Paul. I am not a fan of Logan Paul. I'm just not a fan of him. Drew McIntyre, I used to like him, but now he's just a whiner and a complainer at this
How
point.
can you not like DM Hunk?
I mean, he's just a whiner. He just complains so much about how he should have been champion and all. Like, just okay. Just talk about it, be about it, like I always say. But who you taking here?
As I said earlier, Jonathan Horatio Rodriguez, Tom Brady, Cena, the GOAT. But I think the parallels of Elimination Chamber is going to be great because in the past few years, this is where you get your other Mania matches. So I think you're going to get Paul versus Punk by Punk eliminating Paul. I'm not a fan of the person of Logan Paul, but I think the professional wrestler Logan Paul is incredible. He's incredible.
That's where I'm at with it. I think his athleticism is good for the business.
Wrestling is great, yeah.
His wrestling is great, but just as a person, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, right? And I hope we have not seen our tribal chief since the Royal Rumble. I think we get the Shield rematch at WrestleMania, where it's Seth versus Roman Reigns. Roman enters the chamber. You know how somebody always gets in there because you got to open it to get somebody out.
Yeah.
Comes in and stops him from getting that. And that's what makes John Cena win the match. So I think it's John Cena going to WrestleMania. And it's the only thing that bothers me because I just moved to Atlanta and moving is expensive. And so I'm upset because I had to make a grown man decision. My family to say, family or Vegas? Damn it. Lucky I love these kids. So this mania, but I would not miss Survivor Series. I want to be everywhere John Cena is doing his final tour. I would love to be at his last WrestleMania match. I won't be there. So I think Cena goes and Cena deserves to win 17.
You think he deserves to win 17?
I think to pay respect to Triple H's father-in-law. One thing I've learned about Vince McMahon my whole life is that he has wanted to eradicate everything he has not created. He did not make Ric Flair. So he doesn't want Ric Flair to have that record. Who could probably get that record would be Cena, Orton, or Charlotte Flair, who technically is a WWE product,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because of that, I do think John Cena, they want all these records to have WWE's name attached to them. When you think of Ric Flair, do you think of WWE really? I don't. I grew up watching him in NWA, and for your case, WCW. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So for me, it has to be Cena. I think, and I do think he deserves it. Absolutely, because he's done more for wrestling, in my opinion, than Ric Flair has done. And one thing I do know for sure, he don't have that card in his back pocket that I believe Ric Flair does have. So
Now, my question to you is this. Now, Cena getting it. I completely understand that, getting 17 and everything of that nature. But my thing is this with Cena. I'm just, I don't know. I just feel like I would prefer Charlotte Flair to get it because that's her father. And the thing about it, people give Charlotte Flair so much back because that's Ric Flair's daughter, but she could have done it the easiest way. She could have just went to the main roster and just started there, but she started at the bottom at NXT, but NXT wasn't a actual brand at one point. It wasn't an actual brand when she was there. So for me, I feel like giving it to Charlotte Flair if she came up in the business in WWE and not going to another company,
yeah.
I think it will be right for her. No disrespect to Cena.
No, I get that. That makes what you're saying makes really storyline sense and everything else. And I call Charlotte Flair the GOAT, not because she's my favorite. Remember, you have to have a difference between your favorites and who you believe is right. I look at Charlotte Flair, and I'm from Chicago by way of Philadelphia. Michael Jordan will always, forever will be the GOAT in my opinion. There's not even a debate to me. But what made LeBron the king is that he came and he lived up to that entire hype of everything.
Yeah.
And he surpassed that hype. It's hard to be a great person, especially in wrestling. Look at DiBiase Jr. Look at all the kid wrestlers that never make it, could never live up to it. Charlotte has. So that's why she's the GOAT to me, not because what she's accomplished in the company, but because she's one of her best promos to me. You are now Charlotte Flair's father, not me being your daughter.
Right.
And that promo, I say, yo, she's the GOAT. It was in that moment. I'm above you. I get what you're saying. But
I get what you're saying with Cena, being number 17. But what I love about Charlotte, and a lot of people don't care to see this, but that Charlotte Flair, like some of her top moments, she even stepped down to fight Rhea Ripley when Rhea Ripley was in NXT for the title. Like she would come to the NXT and fight those girls in NXT to help them. And a lot of girls in WWE don't do that.
They don't give it up. Fans do not see that, which is the shameful part, right? Today, fans want to, if they're not in your business or you're not being liked, if it's not an agenda that fits their agenda, they don't like you. And that's why, like I said, I got into this business to educate wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, because nobody wants to know, the Avengers Doomsday is coming out. Do you want to know what happens in the movie before you see it?
Right.
So why you want to know what happens in wrestling before you get to watch it?
Exactly. I kind of miss those days before wrestling had the internet.
I love social media. Don't get me wrong. I got to meet your handsome self. You know what I'm saying? But they kill it at the same time. It's a gift and a curse.
Right. It's a gift and a curse. So you decided to pick Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand why you picked Cena because it sets up other matches at WrestleMania. Of course, with CM Punk versus Logan Paul, but we see CM Punk had beat with Drew McIntyre as well. Of course, you said about the whole Roman Reigns thing, fighting, Roman Reigns fighting Seth Rollins. Now, my thing is this: where does Damian Priest come into this? Because I would love to see Damian Priest at WrestleMania, but now he's on SmackDown. He's no longer at Raw. Yeah. That Judgment Day feud is officially over. So if you picking Cena, and you see all these other matches with Drew McIntyre, I see Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk because we see that feud before. We've seen it.
They're in two different brands. One's on Raw and one's on SmackDown now.
Yeah, that's the only Only
is
thing
that
about the brand split that I hate sometimes.
yeah, well, they still do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Yeah.
So, I just don't. I'm just not a fan of Damian Priest. He just does. He does
What?
nothing. Yeah, he does. And again, this goes back to, and I blame my friends, the Belt King group, that we went to WrestleMania in New Orleans, and everybody was doing NXT that year.
Mhm.
My kids are calling me, Dad, did you see NXT Takeover? Oh my God! No, because my idiot friend said, let's go to this thing that Cody Rhodes and them put on, this Ring of Honor thing, where I got
Right.
to see Damian Priest, and I just was like, who's this tall ass dude wrestling like he's 6'1"? And it's just something about him that I'm not a fan of. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good worker. What he did with Bad Bunny was amazing. How he put Bad Bunny over. Other than that, I'm not a fan of Damian Priest. I hated that he won the title
I'm
last
a
year.
fan. I'm a
I
fan
can't
of
stand
Damian
him.
Priest. I don't think he's winning his match, but I'm a fan of him. I think I saw him grow through the ranks from NXT to now, and I feel like he's getting better every time he steps into the ring. He's getting better, especially on talking on the microphone. And the only thing I just need him to do a little bit better is sell the storyline a little bit better. That's
He's
what I feel like. I think that's what's missing with him is that he's not selling it as much that we want to gravitate to, and that's why a lot of people will be like, okay, it's just Damian Priest.
people love him though, believe it or
Right.
not. I mean, again, this is the beauty of wrestling. This is the
Mhm.
beauty of anything. Like in my era, you asked me what was my wrestling era, right? Well, in my era, I didn't care about DC or Marvel. They were just all superheroes to me. Nowadays, if you don't pick a side, it's like Bloods and Crips. When it
Right.
comes to Marvel and DC, what do you mean he could beat him or her? What? So that when it comes to who you like, it's who you like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like who you like, and don't like who you don't like. You just heck, I like Otis. I still want a shirt that says "Body by Steak." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wrestling. It's supposed to be entertainment. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Exactly.
if you're a Damian Priest fan, if you're a Damian Priest hater, just as long as you respect what they do craft. What I've never tried to do through all my years with Fox Sports and everything else, I never try to say, oh, he's a bum, right? Because I don't care about the worst player on the 12th man on the bench of an NBA team. I can't do that.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
who am I to say, that guy, man, I think he sucks at that character. You know what I mean? Or I think his moveset is I'm not a fan of that moveset, but I can't say they're trash. I'm just not a fan of Damian Priest. He just does nothing for me. I was glad he was at Judgment Day. It was great when he first joined Judgment Day because you had Edge at that time still being there, and then my man Finn Balor took over. I loved it. But then after that, he tried to overcome, and I'm a Finn guy. Right. So
So
yeah,
I get it. I
that's
get it now because you're a Finn guy.
the
Got
fandom
it.
comes out. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm not a Stone Cold guy. I know how great Stone Cold was.
But you wasn't the Stone Cold
He
guy.
went against all my dudes. When
Yeah,
against Bret
that
Hart,
makes
when
sense.
against Shawn Michaels, he went against Triple H. Forget you. When
Yeah.
against The Rock, you know what I'm saying? So
But I'm gonna go with Cena. I'm gonna go with Cena because just of the storyline that he's putting on, the retirement tour, and of course he's going to want to main event one more last WrestleMania before he goes out. Now, I made my pick, but my question is, now Cena wins Elimination Chamber and he wins the title at WrestleMania. What would be the next step for Cena? Because if this is a retirement tour, what would WWE do to take the title off of him?
I don't know. They're the same thing the AEW did. Since they're copying AEW's format anyway. Right? They're trying to act like this is the first wrestler to have a retirement tour. I'm sorry, we just saw Sting retire 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Right? Now, Sting did go on note saying he didn't want to win the title. He didn't think that he should have won the title retiring that way. But so what? You know what I mean? You're not the promoter, as they say.
Right.
I don't care what they did with the title at that point. I just want Cena to win it. I'm not even thinking that far down the line. Somebody can take it off of him at SummerSlam for all I care. They can take it off of him on Raw after Mania. You know what I mean? The next day. I could care less. Right? I'm serious. I just want him to get number 17. It could be Orton interfere. That's why people think that maybe where has Orton been this whole time?
Right.
Right?
He wasn't. I thought he was supposed to return at WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, but Royal Rumble. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
everybody thought that same thing. Like Orton should be in this instead of
Cena.
Damian Priest.
Oh, Damian Priest got it.
Because then you would have even more storyline in there. Damian Priest is that guy that's the one you don't know. He's that wild card in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? You don't think he's winning this thing. Like they tried to tease that a couple weeks ago with them looking at the WrestleMania sign. Ain't nobody buying no ticket, which they already bought the tickets anyway, but ain't nobody trying to say, I want to go see Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes versus Damian Priest in the main event at WrestleMania night
Right.
2.
Yeah, the fact that it's in Vegas is a big city.
On 420?
It's gonna be an Allegiant Stadium on top of that. Like,
Yeah,
you're not gonna wanna see a Damian Priest there. I mean,
no,
you'll love to see probably a Seth Rollins in that main event.
you can see
You'll
that.
probably wanna see Cena in that main
See
event,
that too.
possibly a CM Punk or probably
Definitely can
even
see that.
a
And that's a lot of people
a
saying is that, and I don't mean to cut you off, Hopkins. A lot of people are saying that uh I had posted on Facebook, I saw a rumor that said Punk accepts Rock's offer instead
Mm,
of Cody, and he sells his soul because he's been trying to do everything he can to get to the main event at WrestleMania, and that he
right.
actually wins the Elimination Chamber, and it's going to be Paul versus Cena at WrestleMania. And I
Mm,
can see either way. That's the beauty about. See, that's the kind
okay.
of person I like. Let's do that stuff. Like, yeah, like you know, like I'm here for any of that. I won't see the that's that's what I want. But if he doesn't win, but I get Punk, now hell, I'm here for that too.
Right. Either way, you're still gonna either way, whoever wins Elimination Chamber on Saturday, at the end of the day, it's gonna be great matches outside of the main events at WrestleMania, especially if it's gonna be a two-night event. So this is the road to WrestleMania. This is all the scenarios, theories that you're gonna have with these type of matches, man. But just to recap our picks, I think we went the same way for all the matches, if I'm not mistaken. We both went John Cena, both with Bianca Belair. We both picked Kevin Owens. We both picked Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, and we picked that Cody Rhodes would go corporate heel and take The Rock's offer.
I agree.
Oh man! So don't forget, Jumanji is gonna be on Peacock, tomorrow on March 1st. So make sure y'all definitely watching the Elimination Chamber. It's gonna be fun to watch. If you're down for a recap show, or you want me to come on your channel for a recap show, just let me know. I'll just let me know if if you do it. I'm down for it. I don't mind cross promoting and
I'm a
talk about the recap of this event because it's going to be some drama on Saturdays. It is.
definitely gonna be some drama for sure. Um, I just booked yesterday the whole show because the Mike Knox show is a conglomeration with Unpopular Review Wrestling Channel.
Okay.
And as one of the owners of Unpopular Review, we have a little rule that I have to follow, right? I don't do prediction shows, which when you asked me to come on, I was like, yes, I can do it, right? And I can do all the post shows. And
Right.
by doing that, I have to take someone from our Raw show and our SmackDown show to have them come join because everybody wants to talk about such a great event. But right here, right now, I know I'm not going anywhere. I will definitely, if you want to be there, pencil you in. No, not pencil you in. Pin you in for WrestleMania for sure.
Oh yeah,
For
I'm down.
sure. I love your takes. I love your energy. And I'm happy with wrestling fans that don't try to be, what we're not. Be
Yeah.
fans. You know what I mean? And enjoy their products. So I ain't gonna lie, enjoy your vibe and everything else. I'd love to have you on come on for the WrestleMania show for sure.
Absolutely, man. You got me. You got me. But I got a question for you because now I heard the word that you're the belt king, right? You call yourself the belt king. Now tell everyone in the world why you are the belt king because you said it. I seen a post that
Okay.
you said that you've been doing this before it got popular.
Yes,
So
sir.
explain to the wrestling community why you are the belt king.
Because I'm the originator of this. I have no more belts now. I got to call out shots by the R. Okay, my kicks are my fix on Twitter and on Instagram. Mo_Eaton on Twitter and Instagram. King Coley on Instagram and on Twitter. They have surpassed me beyond surpassing me. They are belt emperors. Okay.
Mm,
But I call myself the belt king because when this wasn't cool to do, when you couldn't go to a website and find it, we had to go to the back of WWE magazine and go
mhm,
to Wrestling Superstore to find these belts. When I had to actually contact Dave Millikins himself, the creator of all the belts, himself to make me a belt, I was collecting belts. You go back, always this is why I'm very hard with myself. You go back to
mhm.
that SmackDown episode. Remember when John Cena was the US champion?
Yep.
It was JBL's 10-month celebration as being champion. They're in Philly. Back then, we would call it
Yeah.
the FU Center.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You see two black guys in the front row with suits on, with a whole bunch of belts. John Cena came over to us at the end of the show. And from there is when we blew up. We started calling ourselves the Belt Kings from that point. Because like I said, at that time, cats didn't have belts. If you saw a dude with a belt, they had one. I was already in 2003 walking around with 10 belts. And people
Mm,
wasn't doing that back then. So Belt King, yes, but we all know there's kings, there's emperors. And so again, and my wife always says when I do that, and she says, "Babe, put yourself over." I know where I stand in the wrestling community, and I have to give respect because I know that my friends, and I'm friends with these guys, why I named them. They got hundreds of titles. Okay, like they just do. They have hundreds of belts. They don't, but they also don't have the vices that I have. I like to drink. You know what I'm saying? I got 4 kids and a grandson. You know what I mean? So things for me are different. But no, Belt King because I started this whole thing. You see the Slammies behind me. I was the first one that had Slammy Awards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see the Slammy. I do
So
see that. That's awesome,
the
man.
whole thing, I wanted to be
Now,
like Owen Hart. I
out of
wanted to
out
have
of
two
all the
Slammies and the
wrestling
Intercontinental
fans,
belt.
out
Yeah.
of all the wrestling fans I know, and that has like memorabilia and stuff like that, I never seen anyone with a Slammy award.
Yeah, I got 2 of them because I wanted
That's
to be like I wanted to be like Owen Hart. Remember how Owen Hart had the Intercontinental title and he would go
Yeah.
like this? Well, I wanted to be Owen Hart. So the first time we seen him, I didn't buy one at a time. I bought them both at the same time. And I got to give out shots to my wife who puts up with me. Been married 26 or 22 years together, 27 years. So I couldn't have these without me. Without her saying, "Yeah, babe, it's okay to go ahead and get a belt." I remember the U.S. Spinner was on sale that day in Philly. Back in October when they back in February, I'm sorry, when we were on SmackDown,
Yeah.
and they seen if you ever go to FU Center and you go to an event, they let you in out of the cold, but you can't get past the rope yet until it's time to start. They
Right.
pulled me and my buddy to the side because we had so many belts, we had the suits on. Like, yo, look, my belt has 2 of 300 on it.
Mm.
And I remember asking my wife because nobody was planning to buy a belt that day. You know what I mean? But they were on sale that night, and I go, "Babe, please, can I get this U.S. title?" And someone like, "What do you mean? You got to ask your wife?" Listen, if you're a real husband, you don't make that kind of a purchase without
Consoling your wife.
talking. Not that I can say yes or no, but it's not just it's our finances.
Right.
So she was like, "All right, babe." And then my man got his. That's saying that he got his. I'm like, "Yo, babe, he getting his." You know what I'm saying? So called him that night, and I remember getting like to that night. It made us famous because he came over to it to the end. About 2 months later, they're doing his album gets released. All right, My Time Is Now album gets released in Delaware. I'm living in Delaware. We at the Best Buy in Delaware on Kirkwood Highway, and Cena comes past. We put that picture of him on SmackDown on a shirt, and we go, "Cena." He goes, "Oh shit, I remember y'all." Those exact words. And I always tell people, right place, right time. Here go a white guy rapping. And here go 2 black dudes with a bunch of belts. It just fit. You know what I mean? And from there, I was in SmackDown magazines. I've been in front page of WWE.com, the whole kit and caboodle. If anybody remembers WrestleMania New Orleans, we shut that place down. They had to escort us out of the building because fans wouldn't leave us alone, me and my crew. So, yeah,
man,
it's not just me. I have a crew of people myself, the Belt Kings. All right, it's not just me. It's a crew of us. So, yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing, man. But for the people that don't know, let them know where they can follow you, where they can subscribe to your channel. Let them know where they can find you at, because at the end of the day, I seen your channel and I love the passion that you have for the sports and entertainment world, you know? So, and I have another person that I want to link you with. His name is Mal Gooley. Shout out to my boy Mal Gooley. He lives in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Chicago.
Okay.
So he's from Chicago. He loves all Chicago things.
Better be Southside.
I don't know if it's Southside or not, but I know he lives in Indiana right now, and he's a big wrestling fan. He does all the watch alongs and stuff for Raw, SmackDown, all the pay-per-views. I'm definitely going to have y'all 2 link up because he has, like, you have all the belts. He has all the collectibles of DVDs.
Wow. See, I did that.
He has the pay-per-view DVD. He has the collectibles of that. So, and I knew Mal Gooley for a long time. We always did, wrestling content together. We used to have one we used to call it Ruthless Attitude Podcast. So we put Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression together and made a Ruthless Attitude podcast. Hopefully I could get back to him and do that due to our work schedules and everything. But just let everybody know where they can find you at, and let the world know, they gotta come to your channel, man.
So again, YouTube, the Mike Knoxxx Show, 3 X's because I'm hardcore. Facebook page as well. Everything's Mike Knoxxx. Just be honest, if you Google Mike Knoxxx, I have more than the wrestler and the rapper from Philly. And Google, by the way, just got to put in 3 X's, and then follow my my other channel, which is my company, Papa Review Wrestling. Mm-hmm. And Papa Review Entertainment. So also just how it's spelled, Papa Review on Twitter, on YouTube as well. So Thank you guys. Hope you guys subscribe. I always say if you don't like it, listen anyway. That's when it comes to my network, because I may not be everybody's cup of tea. I may come off a certain kind of way, but that's why
Yeah,
we have a bunch of people with us behind us. So there's something for everybody, as we
right.
say. So please, I hope you guys do like, follow, and subscribe. And while y'all there, if you're watching this for the first time, make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe right here as well to DH Impact Media. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure y'all do that, on Twitter at DH Impact Media, Instagram, DH Impact Media. I gotta change the name on Facebook. It's still Sports Talk with Darren, because you can't change your name within
yeah,
60
I hate
days.
that.
I hate that. So it's still Sports Talk with Darian over there, but it will be on all platforms. This will be on audio podcasts as well, on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, you name it. It's going to iHeartRadio. This is all going to be on there as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching this prediction and just talking wrestling. The conversation was just a vibe. It was a great time having these conversations, man. And now I can link you up with my guy that I know, my guy Malguli. Shout out to him.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to him, y'all can do collaborations as well when it comes to predictions. Post shows and stuff of that nature. I know I know some wrestling people now. I do. And shout out to Wrestling and Sports Connection too as well. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to his partner. Shout out to everybody there. They do back in the day stuff. They do watch alongs of SmackDown to the 90s, SmackDown 2000s, Raw tonight. They do NXT. They do all the original stuff now, but they do go back and watch the old stuff. They do watch alongs of the old stuff as well. So
Nice.
shout out to Sports and Wrestling Connection as well. I'll link you up to them as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in. That is our predictions. If we do a post show, we will let you know. If it's
Thanks
going
for
to be on
having
the
me.
fly, it's going to be on the fly. But just let y'all know, I will be on for WrestleMania, so definitely be on for that. I will be with them over here. I'll be with them for WrestleMania. So make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. We'll be talking more wrestling on this channel as well. And I'll see y'all later. Peace out.